We always look forward to talking to the guys from AgriGold, the corn specialist here at the Farm Progress Show each year. John Kermicle and Phil McCutchan joining us here on stage at the hospitality tent. Gentlemen, this is going to be a year, as every grower says, that we want to forget. We'll always remember it, but we want to forget. Let's do some forward thinking here. Let's look ahead to the future. And as folks have been coming through the booth, John, what have you been telling them about that 2013 season ahead?
Well, one thing about AgriGold is our theme is we know corn. As you said, we've been the corn specialist for 75 plus years, and our focus has really been around corn. And so we want to take, this experience we've had this summer and start thinking about 2013 and what kind of hybrids we want to have moving forward.
When should that discussion be taking place, John, as the grower visits with you folks?
Well, actually, a lot of those discussions are taking place right now as we kind of get into harvest, the beginning stages of harvest. And the one thing we want to do is 2012 being as difficult as it's been is not use 2012 as the standard. Let's use 3 or 4 years data. Let's use that benchmark as we look to the future.
What kinds of things, Phil, are you telling the growers what kinds of considerations should they have in mind as they go ahead and they look at some of these choices for the growing season ahead? What do they really should be looking at and thinking about in terms of choosing varieties?
Well, it's always easy to look at the crop that's in the ground right now, and there are some lessons to be learned as far as plant health and how long the plant stayed intact and how they were able to hang in there in those tough environments. So you want to keep that in the back of your mind. But as John mentioned, looking at multiple year data is probably a really good thing. Hopefully 2013 and 14 won't be quite like the summer we've just come from. So really trying to take our message and simplify it. When we look at our genetics, we've tried to simplify those and really split that into 3 major series that we rolled out there this year.
Are there some lessons to be learned out there when you look at some of the plots, some of the data over a period of 3 or 4 years? I mean, as you go ahead and choose, if a variety looked great this year, can you pretty well determine that it's going to be good through all kinds of conditions?
Well, it's definitely a good indication, but we had some very severe conditions this year, as you're aware. And
very atypical, unusual.
Yeah, it is. And you put products in different types of environments, and in those extreme cases, it's not always indicative of what you're going to see in a more normal year. But like I said, look at the plant health, how the plant reacted. That's a good benchmark for what you want to look for in a hybrid for the next year.
Do you give growers guidance also, fellows, on overall cropping practices, things they should be keeping in mind, not just variety selection, but other good points that you pass along to them to say, hey, remember this, remember that, because it's all part of the puzzle?
I mean, absolutely. With AgriGold, we focus in on management of the crop. We have a great agronomy team. We publish a lot of information for the growers. We have a lot of sit-down one-on-one conversations about fertility, about fungicides, about all the practices we need to put in place to have a successful crop. Now in 2013, we're going to get the weather to cooperate, and we'll get the success that we didn't have in 2012.
Phil, it sounds like John is describing you guys as sort of the corn counselor, if you'll pardon my alliteration there. I mean, when
Sure.
you sit down with the grower, you're really counseling them on the whole program.
That's right. I mean, you really need to look at the practices and the techniques that are used on each individual farm and each individual piece of ground. And one of the things that we've tried to do this year is introduce the 3 series. We've got our Giants, which have been around for several years, which are kind of the highlight of our genetics from the AgriLiant research program. But then we've also have our regional series, which are really designed to fit those tough environments or those unique situations that a grower might have, whether that's drainage or soil type or challenging situation. And then we've got our limited series, which are the very latest and greatest products that are going to be the next big hitters for us. So when we sit down, we have that conversation about those unique environments and try and place the right hybrid in the right place to maximize every acre for that grower.
The Giants, the regional series, the limited series, right?
That's right.
John Kermicle, where can folks get more information? Where do you guide them?
Well, you can basically come to our website, www.agrigold.com, or I always say just pick up the phone and call us, 800-262-SEED, 800-262-SEED. So we'd be happy to talk to any grower about AgriGold.
Excellent. John Kermicle, Phil McCutchan, always a pleasure to visit with you, and we enjoyed talking to you at the Farm Progress Show 2012.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max.
There's more coming up here on the Best of the Farm Progress Show.